Hello, welcome everyone. I'm Herman Grewal, and today I'm going to discuss on assignment 2, learning theory, and I have picked constructivism theory. So basically, constructivism theory is used to explain how people know and what they know. The basic idea is regarding the problem solving, which is the core idea of the constructivism theory, and about thinking and individuals learning, thinking, and development. Because as people solve the problem, they discover the consequences of their actions from their learning and through reflection on their past and immediate experiences, and that's how they construct their own understanding, knowledge, and they come up with a new learning, or they change their learning. So in today's topic, I'm going to talk about the history of constructivism theory, role of the educator and the learner, benefits and drawbacks of constructivism theory, and conclusion. So talking about history, the history started from Jean Piaget, because he developed this theory, which is called theory of epistemology, where it means the development of the mind to evolutionary biological development by highlighting the adaptive functioning of cognition. But this theory was discredited by many researchers. So later on, a Russian researcher and a psychologist, Lev Vygotsky, came up with the idea that learning happens not just internally, but it ties an individual to its surrounding by communicative interactions with the others. So sometimes people do consider Piaget's and Vygotsky's theories interchangeably, but anyhow, the main idea behind Piaget's theory is that it recognizes the individual cognitive constructivism, whereas Vygotsky's theory take into consideration the social constructivism. But later on, the American philosopher and educator John Dewey came up with the idea of how these two theories fits into the real world by putting them into the school curriculum system. So since then, there have been many researches have been done, and people have come up with many other theories by including more research. That's why we need it is not just self-regulated learning, but it's a learning through interactions with the others and how we can fit it into an actual world. Now, what is the role of the educator in the constructivism theory? Basically, this theory focuses on that the learning happens from the learner itself. So it believes the new knowledge and it is created by connecting to a student or individual's existing knowledge. Basically, it is a learner-centered approach, which requires students to take the responsibility in the learning process. And these activities includes like making connections and asking questions from instructors, from the other individuals, rather than playing a passive role, unlike traditional learning. So in this case, the role of educator is that the instructor is there. Nowadays, that's why we call instructors as a facilitator, and PIDP courses is the best example for this. All the facilitators, they are just there. They give you all the curriculum, all the ideas, chapters, book, but then it's up to the adult learners to see how they can use it, and especially the really good example is about writing those self-reflections, which I think had made a huge impact on myself personally. So in this case, the role of educator is they just plan, design, and implement the curriculum, and they always encourage active participant, because engagement and participation is really crucial in the online learning. So it's up to the instructor to making sure they are coming up with the assignments or the group activities for students, which encourage them, motivate them, and they participate more actively. Now, coming to the role of a learner, basically, as we said, this theory is basically on the learner, that how he learns from his experiences, his past experiences, and how the reflection from his past knowledge and experiences changes his new learning. So students take the responsibility in this case in the learning processes, and they are the active participants. They have to do their own research, play a role modeling, doing other sort of activities, researching, writing self-reflections or something to acquire the more knowledge, because the facilitator is there to give you the topics, but again, it's up to the student to dig more deeper just for more information and see how he come up with the idea or the thought which is relevant what the instructor is saying, or is there anything wrong if he's working on a research which he found, and there should be active participation and asking questions on a regular basis. Now, the pros, the benefits of constructivism theory is that it definitely promotes the active engagement and motivation among between an instructor and facilitator. But basically, the students need to be more engaged. They have to. It's not kind of traditional passive learning. They have to be really active. They need to have that eagerness to learn about the any topic or any subject matter. The students have the autonomy and the responsibility. They have to do their own research, coming up with the ideas, how they can present the assignments or deliver the stuff which is required in a subject matter. And basically it develops more creativity and critical thinking, problem solving skills for the students, and because it basically focuses on the student's sensory input. It's not about reading and writing like a traditional. You're sitting in a classroom, teacher is there to you're reading from the book, teacher is telling you have to do this and this. In this case, it is more of a active learning. Teacher gives you the subject matter, but then it's up to student to do some more research, coming up with their own ideas how they can present this kind of information. Now, the cons of the constructivism theory is that there will be a more of cognitive load among students, and sometimes it leads to more confusion and miscommunication or the frustration if they have no idea. So that's why instructors should lay out the curriculum properly. Like the PIDP courses, instructors give you your weekly planning, what is expected from you each week, and when you have to submit your assignments, which makes it easier for a student like me to understand what you have to do. And if there is lack of structure, so students will be lost. They will be confused what to do. They do not know. So definitely facilitator's role is to provide a structured curriculum for each course and make it easy to understand from a student perspective. Also, many times, like in the constructivism theories, because we do not use a grading system, it removes the grading system, and it places more responsibility on student and their reflection. Like PIDP courses, we have to do our self-reflection and providing, there's a 5-mark criteria. How do you think you did for this assignment? And sometimes, a student can give a high mark or less mark depending on. So that's the another problem with the constructivism theory. Basically, there are many activities which can be performed in a classroom for constructivism theory, including providing students with more of case studies. There will be social interaction, group activities just so they can discuss, doing some research projects, giving a topic. Like for the reflective writings, a topic is given, then you have to come up with your own ideas, doing some research articles and see how this has changed your previous learning and what is your new knowledge or the requirement you have gained from this research. flipped classrooms, modeling and coaching, and problem-based learning, giving any problem and come up with a solution. Like for business management, it could be giving students real case scenarios. For accounting, solving a cost sheet or something, or balance sheet, giving them the real life examples. So to conclude, yes, constructivism theory is widely accepted by most of the researchers, but some of them, they still argue about the theory because it poses more focus on the learner by doing more of the active learning. And it provides the opportunity for the learners to actively engage in the learning process. But if there is no input from the student itself, so that's when this theory does not work. And from my experience taking these PIDP courses, I think the constructivism theory is really good because it does not seem to be, doesn't follow the traditional boundaries that you are sitting in a class and you are being taught what to do, when to do, how to do. It's more of looking outside the box. You have been given a topic or something and you do your own research, then you come up with the ideas, facts, you change your own thinking and learning, and you communicate with more people, and your facilitator asking regular questions. So that's how there should be, for constructivism theory, it needs to be more actively engaged, and that's how it works better. And here are my references, and if you have any questions about the theory or about the research I have conducted for this theory, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.